If you're a fan of Sex and the City, you probably recognize yourself in one of the four main characters. And that is because they were created to represent one of the female personality types. We saw how different were the stories of Carrie, Samantha, Charlotte, and Miranda. Their choices, their wishes, their relationships, their careers, everything looked very, very different. And that is because the choices you make in your life are determined by what kind of person you are. So let's dive deeper into all of the four personalities and understand which one sounds most like you. And of course, I will tell you which mistakes you risk making and how to avoid them. Let's start with Samantha, fans' favorite. She is by all means an iconic character. Independent, bold, sensual, confident. She doesn't shrink, doesn't ask for permission to be herself, and always gets what she wants. She is the kind of woman that we all admire. Her energy is contagious, attractive. We gravitate towards such people. Samantha challenges the traditional belief that femininity is all about softness and submissiveness. She is a very feminine woman, very sensual, very in touch with her female nature. But at the same time, her femininity is a force to reckon with. She refuses to be chosen in career and in relationships. There is a moment in the series when Samantha is interviewed for a new job position and she will not be hired because she is a woman. She is not afraid to stand up for herself and speak against this stereotype. She tells the person, if you don't hire me, you're a fool because I'm brilliant. I'm a fantastic specialist. She's never afraid to stand up for herself or her friends. She is so interesting because she is a woman who allows herself to stay in her feminine, but to get everything that traditionally male is entitled to do and behave in a way that traditionally male is allowed to behave. She has a lot of relationships because she wants to. She is successful. She focuses on her career only. That is her priority. She does everything that we would expect a man to do. Samantha's biggest strength is that she knows who she is, what she wants, and she loves who she is. And her love for herself is not conditional. It's as if at birth she was given this person herself and she said, I'm gonna make this girl happy. Her love for herself doesn't depend on anything. She doesn't think that, or if I find a man, then I will be worthy, or if I achieve that in my career, then I will be worthy. She is worthy and amazing. Full stop. She does not need an external validation. She's not interested in that at all. Her priorities in her life are her career and her friends, and not because somebody said that that's what she shall do, but because she set these priorities for herself.
Samantha, I love you.
I love you too, Richard. But I love me more.
When a person has this mindset, I'm worthy and I'm enough for my own happiness, they will never stay in situations that are bad for them. For example, in a career that's draining, where they are not valued, where they are underpaid, undervalued, or in a relationship where they are not treated right. And that is because such people never think, oh my God, I will never find a new job because I'm so unworthy. This is all I can have, or I will never meet another man because what if nobody apart from this guy will want me? No, such thoughts never come into their mind. I think this is absolutely superpower, to be able at any point of time to get yourself out of a bad situation. Samantha refuses to be judged. She refuses to satisfy anybody's beliefs about how she shall behave. There is a wonderful moment when Carrie walks in on her spending time with one of her boyfriends, and Carrie starts judging her hardcore for her behavior. Samantha is not afraid to confront her friend either, and she says nobody will define who I am and what I do. Interesting thought. When girlfriends got introduced to Mr. Big, Samantha was also interested in him. She liked him and she wanted to start a fling with him. But he didn't choose her, he chose Carrie instead. Why do you think that is? Because at the surface level, it seems like they would be perfect for each other. She doesn't want to have a serious relationship and get attached. He doesn't want to get attached and get into a serious commitment. So why didn't they make a couple? Why did he choose Carrie instead? Let me know in the comments. I will tell you why when we will be discussing Carrie in the end, and let's see if our opinions match. With all the amazing qualities of such women, here lies the biggest danger for them. Their hyper-independence, their confidence might be an armor covering a fear of vulnerability, and we can see it very well with Samantha. She escapes from a relationship the moment she starts getting attached, because getting attached is starting to feel feelings, emotions towards the person and risking to show that you are not invincible. For example, when she's in a relationship with Richard, they're very good together, she falls in love with him, she escapes when she suspects that he is cheating on her because it bothers her too much, and that is a problem. Or when later she's in a relationship with Smith and she gets diagnosed with cancer, she also wants to leave this relationship because she is about to show her vulnerability to him. But here is the thing, in any long-term relationship, you will come off with your vulnerability at some point. In fact, if you don't show your vulnerable side in a relationship, you will never know if this person is truly yours.
I should have gotten married. Then at least I'd have a curtain that closes. Oh, Carrie, it doesn't matter how much you have. If you don't have a guy who cares about you.
So the biggest risk is to stay in this hyper-independence and never let anybody come close. These girls need relationships and connection, as all of us. We can see that Samantha loves her girlfriends. She really needs them. She falls in love. She wants to be in a relationship, but she's too afraid. And if you are a kind of girl who recognizes herself in Samantha, I want to tell you, you are already very, very strong. Whatever comes your way, you can handle it. You need to let your guard down. You need to get vulnerable. You need to allow yourself to show that side of you. Next, Charlotte, the most romantic, idealistic, girly, and innocent out of the 4 girlfriends. Every time you see Charlotte on the screen, it's kind of hard to believe that she is the same age as Carrie and Miranda. Yeah, if you remember, Samantha is a bit elder than the other 3 girls. She is in her 40s. The other girls are all in their 30s. They're the same age. However, Charlotte seems to be so much younger in the way she sees life, in her wishes, in her beliefs. It's as if she was in her 20s or even younger in her teenage years. The way she wants her life to be is as if she's a Disney princess. She believes in romantic love, that a prince will come her way one day, guaranteed, and that's what she needs to be happy. Unlike Samantha, who defines traditional feminine values, Charlotte embodies them. She wants everything traditionally feminine. She wants to be wife and mother, and that's her happiness in life.
It says that if you really want to get married, you shouldn't be spending so much time around dysfunctional single women.
Marriage Incorporated. How to apply successful business strategies to finding a husband.
Charlotte is very emotional, sensitive, and innocent. Such people bring out in you the best kind of qualities. You want to protect them, you want to kind of cocoon them. And we can see that in her relationship with her girlfriends. They often want to protect her, they often want to shelter her because she is so innocent, vulnerable. She reacts so much to being hurt if something goes wrong. She's not afraid to cry in front of you, laugh in front of you if she is happy. Charlotte is an embodiment of soft, light feminine. Samantha, on the other hand, was dark feminine, seductive, alluring. Charlotte is light feminine, nurturing, girly, soft, light. Here is the problem with such girls. They have a lot of limiting beliefs. If Samantha rejects the good girl narrative, Charlotte embraces it. For her, with all her beliefs in bright future, in prince coming and them loving each other forever, world is kinda black and white. I must be a wife and I must have a perfect marriage, a perfect princess wedding, or I will not be happy. Charlotte is very much stuck in her dreams. The world for her must be the way she dreams about it, the way she imagines it. She kind of sees the world the way it should be, not the way it is. For her, life only makes sense if it follows her imaginary plans. Everything must work just right. Let's look at this example. At some point in the series, Charlotte wants to get pregnant. She really wants to be a mother, but she can't achieve that and she suffers a miscarriage. At the same time, her friend Miranda gets pregnant by accident. She didn't want that, and for quite some time she wrestles with the thought, do I want to be a mother? Do I want to keep it? What do I want to do with it? Charlotte does not react to this situation in a healthy way, even though it's not about her at all. It has nothing to do with her. But for her, it is a representation of unfairness of the world. How dare you get what I want? I deserve to be a mother. I want it. I'm working hard to get it. You don't want it. You don't deserve it. Suddenly you get it out of nothing. You didn't pay anything for it. How could it be? She almost fractures the friendship with her girlfriend because of that. And this mindset that everything must be just like in my dreams and no other way takes her to a dangerous place. If you remember, Charlotte was married twice. Before her marriage to Harry, she was married already to another guy. And let's discuss that marriage because it ended in an absolute collapse. At some point in the series, she decides it's time to get married. It's what she wanted all the time anyway. So she meets this guy, and on paper, he is absolutely perfect. He is everything she always wanted for herself. Rich, handsome, has a good family, they will have fairy tale wedding, fairy tale life, everything is absolutely perfect. And because she is stuck in this checklist, does he satisfy my mental desire of how he shall be? She doesn't bother to actually get to know the guy. For example, they already married, and that's when she discovers he doesn't want to be a father. But that's what she wants more than anything in life. How could it be? You married a person and you never even discussed such a big, major question? Of course she didn't, because she didn't bother. Everything was perfect on paper. That seemed to be enough. But was it enough? Of course not. And that's why this marriage ended in collapse. It was based on societal and her own expectations, and not on feelings for each other, not on connection and compatibility.
They want to photograph both of us
Why?
because they think we're the perfect couple.
Later in the series, Charlotte meets an absolutely imperfect partner. Everything is wrong about him. He doesn't look right. He has wrong job. He's not as rich. He's even different religion. Everything is wrong about him. But he is the one who gives her perfect happiness. Because in life, you have to stay flexible and focus on what you want in the moment. Focus on what you feel towards this person and if they make you feel right. If you're stuck in the mindset of mental checklist, which is not how reality works, you risk to miss something very good and to get stuck in something very wrong for yourself. So for such girls who identify with Charlotte, I would recommend to stay open, to stay flexible, and check in with yourself. Do I really want it? Or I just feel that that's what I shall want because that's what society thinks is right. That's what I thought as a child would be right. Check in with yourself and ask, what do I want right now? What is right for me right now? Number 3, Miranda, the most overlooked out of the 4 girlfriends in my opinion. And oh boy, this girl deserves to be discussed. She is a career woman, goal-oriented, disciplined, independent, very strong. If we compare her with Samantha, they are similar in a way because they both define everything traditionally feminine. They refuse to satisfy any society's expectations and any stereotypes. But Samantha is a kind of woman who is in touch with her feminine. She's a woman in male world, and she's not afraid to present herself as such. Miranda, on the other hand, is kinda male in male world. She rejects everything feminine because she despises it. I would describe her as daddy's girl. She seems to be the kind of girl who was born to a father who really wanted to have a son, but never got to have one. She is focused on her career and her achievements. She refuses to be defined by any relationship in her life. This is not where her focus lies. Her worth is determined by how successful she is and how respected she is in a professional world. She approaches life very practically. For her, there are no dreams. There are plans and a checklist to achieve that plan. That's it. Unlike Charlotte, who likes to indulge into fantasies, Miranda only sees reality and real way to approach it.
I can't stand all that artificial hoo-ha. That's why I proposed to Steve over $3 beers.
Her strongest quality is probably her independence. She's very disciplined, she's very strong, capable, talented. She makes her own choices. She is responsible for herself. She takes care of herself. She dominates in a relationship. She refuses to be chosen. She approaches everything in a very practical way, as said. Out of all of the girlfriends, if you wanted to hear harsh truth, the way things really are, you would go to Miranda. She wouldn't support you with words of affirmation. She would show you a real picture. Miranda, unlike Charlotte, is very psychologically strong and emotionally regulated. Things that happen in life very rarely would throw her out of balance. She is the rock that you can rely on. It's actually very nice to discuss Miranda and Charlotte together because they are opposites. Charlotte is dreamy, idealistic. Miranda is pragmatic, to the point of being almost skeptical and distrustful. Charlotte is romantic. Miranda is very realistic. Does this relationship suit me? Will it distract me from my goals? But here is the interesting part. Charlotte is delusional about life. Miranda is delusional about herself. She is very realistic about the world. She sees reality the way it is, but she doesn't see herself the way she is. She has this perfect image of self-sufficient, capable, independent woman that she must satisfy, and she does not allow herself anything away from that image. The problem is people are way more complicated than that. We might be independent, but also want to be attached to somebody, also be vulnerable for somebody, to fall in love. We might be the most successful woman in the room, but also want to wear a girly dress on our wedding day. The problem with people like Miranda is that they rob themselves of many life experiences if they don't satisfy their perfect image of self. I can't be girly, this is pathetic. I can't wish to be a mother, I must be successful, I must wish to be successful. I can't wear dresses, I can't giggle and loosen up. You get the pattern. They don't allow themselves to be something else apart from that perfect rock. She won't allow herself to have what she really wants if that means that she is imperfect. That's for people like Miranda is loss of control, and that terrifies them. And that's how they might push people away.
I need my space. I feel like I'm being suffocated.
Jesus, Miranda. It's like you're the guy sometimes.
If you are somebody who struggles with the same thing, you shall stop labeling things as pathetic, unworthy, and stop judging people so much. Instead, check in with yourself more often. What do I want? Does this make me happy? Do I want to try this? And your life will be way more interesting. The richness of experiences in your life will increase. You will allow yourself to live instead of just achieving the goal that's in front of you. Finally, Carrie Bradshaw. Iconic, charming, talented, chaotic. Out of the 4 girlfriends, it's probably hardest to describe Carrie. Look, Samantha is sensual, interesting, attractive. Charlotte is dreamy, innocent. Miranda is goal-oriented, disciplined. But who is Carrie? This uncertainty is exactly who she is. She is an explorer. She wants to experience life. Look at her work, for example. She is a journalist who writes a column for women. She often experiments with life in her column and goes on new adventures to have new material. She experiments with life. She wants to experience it. She wants to see how it works. She wants to understand how life works. Or look at her relationships. The guys she dated were very, very different. An artist, a businessman, a craftsman, so different. She doesn't have a perfect image of life or a perfect image of who her partner shall be. She doesn't know who she is and what she wants in the best way possible. She is determined to find that out. Probably that's why Carrie feels so iconic. Her life is not pre-planned A to Z. Her life is not Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. Her life is colorful, interesting, filled with new experiences and adventures.
Do you know when I first moved to New York and I was totally broke? Sometimes I would buy Vogue instead of dinner. I just felt it fed me more.
Carrie is very emotionally expressive and romantic. She's not afraid to fall in love and express her feelings. She loves deeply. She is socially magnetic, charming, interesting, witty, easy to be with. She is so fun to be around. She is the soul of the party. At the first glance, Carrie's life seems to be like a dream. She lives in New York City in a tiny apartment alone. She writes her columns while looking at the views of New York. She goes out with her friends. She wears iconic dresses and very expensive shoes. She goes to parties. She dates interesting different men. But when crisis happens, she doesn't know how to handle it. Remember when she and Aiden broke up? Aiden bought her apartment, but since they broke up, he wanted her to either move out or buy the apartment back. But she doesn't have the money. She doesn't have any savings. She never bothered to create any savings. And she has no idea how to handle this situation. So she starts asking her friends for help, Mr. Big for help. And here's what happens with her and her friend Charlotte. Charlotte doesn't offer to give her the money, and Carrie gets pissed. How dare you not offer me your help? She kind of feels like a child that world has to take care of. She never learned to take responsibility for her life. In a way, she is like a teenager in an adult body who is just playing to be an adult, pretending to be an adult instead of being one. Because her idea of adulthood is very teenagery, isn't it? I would do what I want, I would buy what I want, I would work when I want, I would date who I want, but where is the responsibility in that? Famously, she buys Manolo Blahniks on her last money without having any cash in her bank account. Would a responsible adult behave like that? When it comes to relationships, she brings the same adventure mindset into her relationships with men. She confuses the intensity of emotions with true passion. That's why she gets so attached to Mr. Big. It's again like teenagers' love story between Romeo and Juliet, for example. The guy is clearly not serious about her. I made a whole video about that. Watch it if you haven't already. She feels like a character in some drama or a movie. It is intense, and that's enough. Compatibility doesn't matter. Think of her relationship with Aiden. That one was steady, reliable, safe, but she got bored in it. She ran away from him. He was kinda annoying her. When things are smooth, she gets bored. Where is the fun in that? Where is the adventure in that?
We adore each other, we have fun together, we mesh.
And this is a problem?
No, it feels odd.
Long-term adult relationships are not just about chemistry and feelings towards each other. It's also about compatibility. For Carrie, it seems that feelings justify everything. But it's not true. Sometimes we feel a lot of emotions towards a person because we are triggered, because they activated some trauma or fear of abandonment in us. Don't mistake emotional chaos for true love. Remember we talked about Mr. Big choosing Carrie instead of Samantha, who also was not that serious about relationships? Here is why. Because he wanted to get those feelings out of Carrie. He enjoyed her attachment, her adoration, the fact that she can't get over him. He wanted that. Relationship with Samantha wouldn't satisfy him. He wanted those emotions. He wanted to enjoy them too. He and Carrie are kind of dependent on each other. They are addicted to each other. Women who identify with Carrie shall become more grounded, shall strive to become more grounded, and shall stop wishing every second of their life to be as exciting as a roller coaster ride. Smooth ride is not boring. It's about safety. It's about building a solid foundation for your love life and for your career life. Thank you for watching this video. Share in the comments which one of the women sounds most like you and which one you would love to be more like. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel so I can see you in my next video. Bye bye.